गाइस जल्दी से अपने फ्रेंड्स को बुला लो so that everyone joins live stream right now because what we are starting now is very important for all the first years because finally end sems khatam ho gaya yaar and now it's time to step into something more exciting, building, coding and solving real world problems. So I welcome you all to Winter of Code 8.0, CyberLabs 8th Winter Hackathon. CyberLabs is basically the official programming and development club of IIT ISM Dhanbad. And Winter of Code is the first and most important step to enter CyberLabs. Now, why is this journey so important? Because here you get real world projects, expert guidance, mentorship from seniors, and a chance to actually build something meaningful. This is where many of us seniors started, and this is where you can begin too. So now I'll let you quickly, understand the process कि चालू कैसे करेंगे हम सब, ठीक है? The first step will be choosing a problem statement. Each division will reveal their project's problems today. You need to choose any one problem statement from one division you like. The step two will be submit your proposal. The Google form will be shared very soon, and you need to submit a proposal for that problem statement, which shows your understanding and ideas for the solution. The deadline for the same will be 3rd December, end of the day. Step 3 will be coding phase from 7th of December. Once selected, a month of coding begins, which involves learning, building, and developing with guidance, resources, and mentorship. And then step 4, we have evaluations. To track your progress, we'll be having mid evaluation, final evaluations, and interviews, जिनकी dates आपको बाद में communicate कर दी जाएंगी. And throughout the journey, resources are available on CyberLab's website. Seniors will be there to guide you and help you through. तुम्हें कोई भी डाउट आता है तो you can definitely reach to your seniors. And for any doubts currently in the live stream, you can also type in the live chat. So Winter of Code is your first step into CyberLabs and into the world of development. So let's begin. If you have any questions, please write them in the live chat. Any one of us will be answering that. Now, I'd like to invite the
Please
member of
react in the
Machine
live
Learning
chat.
Division to reveal the problem statement.
So, good evening, everyone. Myself Ritesh, and I'll be presenting machine learning division problem statement today. Basically, for machine learning division, you have three tasks, like a combination of three tasks. The first task is you have to develop the custom machine learning library comprising of some basic algorithms such as linear regression, polynomial regression, logistic regression, k nearest neighbors, k-means clustering, decision trees, and a neural network. Uh, all these implementation should be done in proper Python, pure Python, and NumPy and Pandas. You can basically use NumPy and Pandas. And for neural network, you have to make like a generalized n layer neural network in which you can choose your optimizers as well as weight initialization techniques. Some of the recommended weight initialization techniques are HE and Xavier initializations, and optimizers that we would recommend to implement are Adam, RMS prop, and momentum. Along with that, you have to experiment with different types of layer normalization, batch normalization, and all that stuffs. uh, and most important point is these algorithms should be trained completely from scratch using Python, NumPy, and Pandas. Alongside this, we would have a mid evaluation in which we would ask you to present a paper. Like we would give you a PDF which you have to prepare for presentation, and we would ask question related to it in mid evaluation as well as some coding as far the coding you have done. So this was like task 2. Task 1 was basically implementing the algorithms from scratch. Task 2 was presenting the paper we have shared. And task 3 for our division is we would host a Kaggle competition in which all the interested students must participate, and you have to push the leaderboard score. uh, and Like for Kaggle task, you can use external libraries, but but you must only use the libraries that are like sorry, you must only use the algorithms that are listed by us in the task one. So uh, and alongside with the paper presentation, you would have to give thorough analysis of the all the exploratory data analysis you have done till the mid evaluation. And at the end evaluation we would have a proper code review and other assessments, and after that the timelines will be communicated to you later, and some of the implementation details are as I told earlier, all the algorithms must not include any external libraries such as PyTorch or sklearn. So, uh, but in Kaggle competitions you can use them. So that's an exception of libraries. Uh, all the codes must be done in Jupyter Notebook or Colab at very first. Okay, then you can make it a modular using oops and python. So you can make it modular afterwards, but try to code in Jupyter Notebook and Colab. uh, then the deliverables which we expect are complete code, including all the code you have done in competitions, as well as like your submission codes and a detailed report, in which you would have all the methods that you have attempted and implemented, as well as methods that are discarded, along with the reasons you would provide for discarding them. So that was it for machine learning division. I'll be there for like 5 minutes next to answer the queries. If you have any queries, please put in chat. Also, the proposal should be very concise and to the point for the division, and uh, and you must give a timeline for it, like on which on like on which time on which dates you would do something like that. Okay, so I have one doubt in chat. How we have to present a PDF. So we would provide you with one PDF which you would have to prepare. Like you would have to present that paper alongside with your explanation, which you would give for the paper. We would ask some questions related to it, and uh, on that basis, the evaluation will be done. So is it clear? Okay, so I have another question, sir. Should we do all the optimizers or any one of them? So basically, it's up to you. We would suggest to do all the optimizers uh, for experimentation purposes, and choose you must have a code for all of them, and you must also report the best performing optimizers and uh, so is it clear? So I have another doubt, sir. How much time? Okay, so final submission of project would be in the first week of January, tentatively. So just plan accordingly. And mid evaluation will be mostly like after 15, after 15 till 20, I guess 20 तक हो जाएगा. I guess there are no more doubts, so you can proceed, Tanish.
Okay, so I think we have no more doubts. Like clarifying the dates again, I'd say the deadline of the proposal will be like the end of 3rd December. And अगर मैं mid eval की बात करूँ तो in mid eval like 15 to 20 December के बीच में हो जाएगा. And the end eval will take place in the first week of January itself. Okay, so now I'd like to invite the member of blockchain division to reveal the problem statements.
Yep. So for the blockchain divisions, we have five problem statements. So coming on to the core tech stack that would be used, that would be common throughout all the projects. So for frontend, we expect you to use HTML, CSS, or JavaScript. Also, you can go ahead and use React JS as well, but be sure like you know how you have implemented the front end through it, because there will be questions regarding your front end in the technical interview as well as in the mid eval. And for the database, we expect you to use Firebase and Firestore for authentication. You can use the Firebase authentication always, but using the MetaMask integration, that is the wallet integration, would carry some extra bonus points. So yeah, so you can also go ahead and do it. And for the file storage, you can also use Firebase storage. Coming on to the main part that will be judging for your projects is that how would you go ahead and simulate the blockchain. So we expect you to use the crypto.js library, which would help you in order to generate SHA-256 hashes. So we'll go ahead and move on to the first project, that is the FIR system on blockchain. So it is basically a web-based system where the citizens can file the FIR, and the core goal is to prevent the police or criminals from altering the details of a case. So you're basically creating a some kind of an immutable log. So what we expect from you guys in this project is there should be a role-based access. There should be distinct login for the citizens and for the police, and there should be a tamper-proofing system, which basically every action that includes the FIR being filed to the officer being assigned and to the status update must be stored in a block, which would function as a append only log. And for the evidence handling, there should be an evidence handling section. The citizens must be able to upload images or the videos of the incidents, and there must be a public verification section where you the where a user could just go ahead and verify all the hashes for each of the blocks and check that any of the FI have been tampered or not. So like the question comes like how would you implement this. So for this we recommend you to create some kind of an array which stores the data, the previous hash, and the timestamp and the current hash of the FIR that has been formed. You can use the basic algorithm, basic function in which the current hash would depend on the previous hash, the status, the evidence URL, and the timestamp. In order to understand this in depth, you can always go ahead and check out the Anderson Brown blockchain simulation that we showed you during the workshops. This brings us to the second problem statement, which is the medicine supply chain tracker. So what it does is basically monitors the medication from the manufacturer to the distribution and then to the pharmacy. It So the goal is to ensure that the counterfeit drugs cannot enter the chain, and the batch history, like where the medicines have went, is transparent. So what we expect from you guys in this project is to create a handover logic, which is basically where a manufacturer sends a batch. They create the first block, that is the genesis block of the blockchain, and when the distributor receive it, they add a new block linked to the first block. Then there must be a QR verification section, which is basically a public page where scanning a batch ID, shows the entire journey and verifies the hash chain integrity. And there should be separate dashboard for manufacturers, distributors, and the pharmacies. You can, in order to show the heat maps and the map as well, you can always use leaflet or charts.js. Visuals matter. We would judge the project based on the visuals as well. This brings us to the third problem statement, which is the decentralized crowdfunding platform. So what is like the main advantage of this is that every donation is recorded as a hash record, so the campaign owners could not hide funds. So basically what it would do is every you know every Kickstarter style platform kind of thing. So what it would do is, the it would allow user to create campaigns, and each campaign in itself would, function as a block, and for each block there would be multiple transactions, which is basically the donations that have been made to that block or the campaign. So what we expect from you is to, create a kind of campaign management where, users can, create campaign with titles, deadlines, and images. And then there must be an immutable donation log, where this is basically when a user donates, the transaction is logged with a hash. So it must be public. It cannot be hidden or deleted. Uh, if you try to, do it, it would basically function as a public ledger kind of thing. So basically, there should be a transaction history tab on the campaign page. Like if you just go ahead and click on any of the campaigns, there should be a transaction history tab where you could go ahead and check all the donations that have been made to it. And of course, like there shouldn't be a section for the owner of the campaign to delete any of the transactions. You can also create a similar kind of structure or a array collection for the campaigns as well. And yeah, of course, you have to link the donations to each other so that any tampering in one of the donations would render the complete, the integrity of the chain unusable. And this brings us, and for the visual and the progress bars, you can use chart.js. Uh, so this brings us to the fourth problem statement, which is the build chain. So this basically implements construction transparency. It solves the problem of corruption in public works by lodging the deliveries and the attendance immutably. So we expect you to, create three distinct logs, which is first the material log, where, the delivery photos, the quantity, and the supplier logs the detail about the materials. Then there would be a labor log where the daily attendance of the workers would be, entered. And then there would be a milestone, which is basically the completion status that has been approved by the admin. So there must be some evidence section, like where every material deliver must have a photo, and the photo should, like if any of the photos are tampered. So like I wanted to address one of the questions that in Firestore you cannot store images or files. So what we expect you to do is, hash the images as well, using the SHA-256. Hashing the image would, allow them to store on Firestore, or you can just go ahead and use the IPFS, but using IPFS would prove very complicated for you guys. So we would expect the a simple encoded image as well. And so Yeah, so that is basically it for the build chain project, and which brings us to the final project, which is the carbon track, which is basically a mission tracker. So like just to give you a background, so what basically there's something called carbon credits. So the companies, in order to meet their carbon emissions, uh, had to purchase carbon credits from the government, and for that the data regarding the carbon emissions of the company should be shouldn't be tamperable. So basically what you're building is basically a platform for companies to report their carbon emissions. So it basically creates a green scorecard for the companies. So what we expect from you guys in this project is that the companies there should be a section where the companies submit their data. Suppose they have 500 some tons of CO2 emissions, which must be hashed and appended to their record. There must be an auditor role for the platform, which is basically the government or the special users, which approves all this data, and also makes sure that the data is in accordance with what has been submitted to the government. And there must be a public scorecard, which is basically a page showing the company's grade. It can be ABC, or you can give it a score, and basically the emission trends over the time. So we expect a similar kind of blockchain implementation in this also. So for visuals, you can use line charts to show CO2 emissions. And like to summarize all, I just wanted to say is that uh, you guys first, before mid-eval, you guys should focus on implementing the blockchain part of the project, because then if you'll have any doubts, you can answer the doubts in the mid-eval as well. Then you should after the mid-eval you should start working on the front end. So some checkpoints to keep in mind is that you should know how to simulate a block, and after you have simulated a block, there must be a verify section for each of the projects, where the recompilation of each of the hashes to match the current hash. So which basically tells us whether the data has been tampered with or not. And then there should be a role based access, which of course varies for different projects. And of course visuals matter. So we ask you to use charts, heat maps, and scorecards to list the details of various things that you'll be needing in each of the projects. So I think, yeah, that's pretty much it for the blockchain division. Any doubts, please write it in the comment section. Yeah, so there is individual participation. So there would be no teams in WOC.
Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can type down in the live chat. And after the thrilling reveal of the blockchain division's problem statements, before we move ahead, let me clarify once again. You must select only one problem statement under one specific division. That means you cannot apply for two divisions or choose multiple problem statements from the same division. And now moving forward, let's move towards app development. And I'd like to invite the representative from app dev division to reveal the problem statements.
Okay, so hello everyone, and for the app development division, we have a total of five problem statements. And first of all, I would like to clarify the basic tech stack that has to be used by all of you. The first is that the language will be Kotlin. Okay, you do not have to develop a Java project even by mistake. It should be only in Kotlin, and the UI framework that you should use to build it should be only XML. You cannot build the project in Jetpack Compose if you even if you know it. For the uh, WOC part, you have to focus only on Kotlin and XML. Now, moving on to the first problem statement. Uh, just a minute, just a minute. Okay, so the first problem statement we have is queue cart. Um, so this is basically a canteen ordering app where the users can see a menu and place food orders, and those food orders will be in waiting queues until they are fulfilled. Now, how it is different from a usual application is that you have to tailor it specifically for college students, and the interface of this application is expected to be sort of a shopping application where the menu items will be put into the database, and then the front end of the application shall fetch those menu items and display it on the screen. Now you have to use Firebase Firestore to store the menu items and their images, and then you have to fetch it from that and display it using a recycler view. Then the users, who would be basically the college students who would order from this application, should have the ability to select items, to adjust the quantities, and to also view the total pricings. And then they have the feature to place orders, and those orders should also be saved in Firestore. And each order should have a user ID, should have the item count, should have the price, should have the entire list of items that is being ordered, and should also have the timestamps. The timestamps are very important. You have to keep track of that because the two orders will always be distinguished through timestamps. And there will be four statuses of an order. First one will be pending, where the order is not is received, however, has not been starting to prepare. The second would be a preparing stage, and the third would be that the order is ready, and the fourth would be a completed stage. Now, these are the compulsory features that you have to implement. Okay, like there should be, apart from the feature of ordering, there should be also admin feature where basically the canteen admin should have the ability to add new menu items, delete older menu items, and edit those menu items, and also to accept or reject orders and to update the statuses of the orders. And also to uh, to incorporate offline functionality, you have to use room database in order to cache the menu items and the orders placed by your user. Um, Apart from that, what you can do as an additional feature. Now, additional features are something that are optional. Like you can develop your own additional features too. There is no one specific list of additional features that you have to follow. Although the features that have been listed in the features to be implemented first must be implemented, the additional features are just up to your will. So the first one is notification system, notifying the user that their order has been prepared or has been out for delivery. And you can also integrate uh, cash transactions in your applications, although that would be a difficult thing, but if possible for you to do that, you can definitely do. And you can also include features like super coins or points or anything like that in your application. Basically, something that can be used for discounts. Like nearly all of the applications have some sort of coins, like Tata new coins, Flipkart super coins, and even in Amazon there are diamonds. So you can implement a similar feature in your application too. And regarding additional features, you can think of even more of them. Okay, so the tech stack, again, I have explained the tech stack in the features part also, but again repeating it: Kotlin XML, recycler view, live data view model, room database for caching the menu items, for glide to display images, Firebase for storing and for authenticating. And FCM, if you are implementing notification system, you need to use Firebase cloud messaging with, and again, if you are implementing cash transactions, then Razorpay has to be used, and Work Manager has to be used in order to implement background sync. You need to sync the data from the room database into Firestore, meaning that your offline and online databases should be in sync. They should not be out of sync. What data is present in the offline database should be present in the online database, and hence you have to use Work Manager in order to sync those data when the user is not using the application. So this was for the first problem statement, and now moving forward to the second problem statement, which is reuse it. So reuse it is basically an application that's like your college time OLX. It's very similar to what you do on OLX. Basically, you have to sell items that are no longer of use to you. So we all have things like it can be books, gadgets, clothes, stationery, anything that is not needed, and then you can give the users the functionality to put them on sale or um, sale in not only in terms of money but also in terms of exchanging of items. Or you can also implement the feature of borrowing items, like a user can borrow an item on rent for some days. That sort of features have to be implemented in this application. It's basically a marketplace for used items. Now the features that have to be compulsorily implemented in this is, first of all, authentication system, which you will be using Firebase, as in the first problem statement too. And again, you have to add the feature to add photos, descriptions of the products that have to be listed, and the categories and the availability statuses. And you have to also implement a search feature so that the user can search and filter items according to their wish. And also, items have to be marked as given away or reserved. Now, understand this very carefully. Given away means that the item has been given away to somebody, it has been sold to somebody in exchange for something. For a reserved item, it means that it has been borrowed by someone for a particular period of time. So both of these two features should be available in the application. The user should be able to borrow an item as well as be able to buy an item. And again, here also you have to implement offline caching and also implement background syncing of it. And the last thing that you have to compulsorily implement is a feedback system, basically a review system, as you all find in all shopping applications. And the additional features that you could implement is, first of all, you related to user security, basically reporting a user, like reporting a user who is selling a fake item or is not delivering an item or is asking for exorbitant amount of charges. Those type of users can be reported. And the other thing is a wish list or save for later list that you find in all major shopping applications. And item expiry, auto archive systems, like you can move the items to archived after some days of inactivity. And also you can implement a chat feature, meaning I could just click on chat, and then I would be able to chat with the seller of the item, and I can use that to bargain for prices. That feature can be additionally implemented. It's not compulsory, but if possible, you can definitely do it. Additional features will definitely carry an extra weightage. It will give you an edge over your other competitors. Now, the tech stack that has to be used here is again Kotlin and XML, and for backend you have to use Firebase, Firestore, and Firebase authentication. For UI, you have to use a recycler view to display the list of items, and a bottom navigation view that's basically for navigating to the application. And if you are using uh, notification system, then you have to implement Firebase cloud messaging. And if you are using chat feature, then you have to implement it using Firebase real-time database. That's an additional tech stack. Now that's all for the second problem statement, and now I shall move on to the third problem statement, which is bond, which is a modern friendship application. It is a social media application that is meant to be made specifically for the interconnection of college students. See, um, this application is meant to be a safe, private, and fun to use application that supports the needs of a Gen Z social media application. It is meant to be used for college students, so its UI should be a modern, stylish looking UI. That's what is expected from you as a developer. And the core features that have to be implemented in this application is, first of all, user authentication. There should be a feature to register and log in for every user, which has to be implemented using Firebase authentication again. And there also, you have to use Firebase Firestore in order to store user data, which will contain the name of the user, the bio, the profile picture, and the interests of the user. There should be an option to post something, just as you post on Instagram, like upload a photo. You do not need to upload a video here right now. Video functionality, if you want to add, you can do that. But a photo uploading feature is compulsory here, and you also have to add a caption to the post, and also add a feature to like the post and to comment on it. And all this has to be stored using Firestore and Cloudinary. Cloudinary is to be used for storing images, and for storing all other data, you have to use Firestore. Also have to implement a chat feature, which is very, very quintessential to the functioning of a social media application. A social media application cannot be built without a chat feature. So you definitely have to build a real-time one-to-one chat feature using Firestore real-time database. Chat feature has to be implemented using Firebase RTDB. And every message of that is to be stored in the real-time database should contain the text that has been sent, the sender or the receiver, and the timestamps. The other thing that has to be implemented is the user's searching feature, meaning I should be able to search for the profiles of other users who are using the application, and I can make friends with them by sending bond requests. Now, another last feature that has to be compulsory implemented is interest-based communities that users can join. Basically, this is like the communities you may find on Discord. Like you see communities based on one particular interest that has to be implemented in the application. It is basically a group chat application which the people can join on the basis of their common interests. Now, the bonus feature that have to be implemented here is online status indicators using Firestore timestamps. And the other feature that has to be implemented is a dark mode UI. A dark mode UI you can implement in every application that is present in these problem statements. And then again, friend suggestions based on shared interests, profile or profile mood options. Like you can set a mood on a particular day on a profile, and again an option for notifications, and also an option to report or block a user. Now, the tech stack that has to be used here is language Kotlin, UI framework XML. The backend has to be made using Firebase, where you will be using authentication, Firestore, and real-time database. The image has to be stored using Cloudinary, and the image has to be loaded using Glide. And the notifications have to be sent using Firebase Cloud Messaging. Now, moving on to the fourth problem statement of app development division, which is Classroom Connect. This application is strikingly similar to Google Classroom. As you see in Google Classroom, you have basically an application built for school students or college students, right? So here, this is just a better version of that it has to be made here. Here you can share study materials and academic related information. Now, instead of using multiple apps to distribute notes, organize classes, and clear doubts, this app should provide a single learning community for teacher and students. and each class is created by a teacher and can be joined using a class ID that is shared to that is shared privately to a student. And the core features that have to be implemented in this application are, first of all, you have to make it for two different roles. A user should be able to register for either a teacher role or a student role. One email ID has to be used for making only one role, either a teacher or a student. Now, both of these roles will have different functionalities associated with them. Firstly, class creation and join system. The teacher's role will have the functionality to create classes, and students will have the functionality to join those classes using class IDs. Now, class IDs have to be generated during the creation of the class, and they have to be privately shared to the students by the teacher. The other thing is study material sharing. There should be an option to share links to notes or videos, and also to upload PDFs of academic material and video lectures via Google Drive. You have to integrate Google Drive into this application in order to store and share different file formats. Now, another feature that has to be implemented is class discussion forum. Again, a place where the entire class could discuss. Okay, basically a group chat feature for the entire class. And again, a secure data storage system using Firebase. Simple. Data has to be stored using Firebase Firestore and authenticated using Firebase authentication. Now, the bonus features that can be implemented here is like, again, these are just example features. You can make your own additional features too. But as just examples, you can take as like file preview system before downloading. Like when you are downloading a particular PDF that has been shared on the application, it can preview that PDF to you. And moderation tools, like the teacher should have a moderator role. The teacher should be able to control what students message, and they should have the ability to add or remove students, and also the ability to delete or add messages. And the other thing is again push notifications that you can implement. Like some teacher uploaded some notes, or some students shared some video link, that has to be notified to the all the users collectively. Other thing is to again implement a reaction feature, just like you have on WhatsApp. You can react to particular messages. So just like that, you can implement a reaction feature. And again, a dark mode UI, which is dark mode UI, you can consider as a common additional feature for all the Android apps. And the tech stack that has to be used is again language Kotlin, UI framework XML, backend implemented using Firebase, authentication, Firestore and cloud storage, push notifications using FCM, and storage integration has to be done using Google Drive external linking. Now, moving on to the last problem statement, which is Quizit. It's a quiz generation application, as the name suggests. So in this application, the user basically has the functionality to give a prompt to the AI generated model, and it will generate a quiz in specific formats. Basically, the user should input material in the form of URLs, PDFs, notes, text, any format, and any acceptable format has to be used to input data to the AI model, and then that AI model should generate a quiz in a specified format. You can see the specified format in the uh, how do I give you an example? It should be basically like question one, this, and then four options, and then the answer. That's how the quiz should look. And the quiz format can be timed or can be untimed. The quiz can be multiple choice correct type or single choice correct type, and this will to use to generate these quizzes. You have to use Gemini API. The AI model has to be used is Gemini API, which you can get for free. There is free versions available for using, and the other feature that has to be implemented is history of quiz. Basically, the quizzes that a user takes, the scores of those quizzes and the questions and solutions of those quizzes have to be stored along alongside in both the offline as well as the online mode. Here also you have to implement caching and syncing between online and offline database. The history of the user should be stored both in room database in offline mode and in file store in online mode. And you have to again use a regex partial that could extract, and that's okay. Another add-on feature that can be used is basically a social competition feature where user could compete with others for quizzes. And tech stack is used to be Kotlin and Gemini API in XML and room database retrofit OKSTTP. That's it. Any questions uh, for the app development division projects?
Okay, so first of all, I'd like to appreciate how the members of App Dev Division came up with such exciting problem statements. Now, moving ahead, we'll shift to the Information Security Division. I'd like to invite the representative from InfoSec to introduce the problem statements.
Hello. Yeah. So I'll be introducing the projects for the Information Security Division now. The goal for this month is to build the tools that you have used throughout the CTFs and all of the events that we have had. Our projects will revolve around 4 domains. First is Linux, second is malware development, third is cryptography and web, and fourth is forensics. Let's move on to the first project, building a minimal container runtime. What is a container? To a beginner, it's like a virtual machine, a computer inside of a computer. But technically, that is wrong. A virtual machine is very heavy and has all of the resources. It basically simulates fake hardware over your original hardware. A container is lightweight. It's just a magic trick played on your operating system. We'll build a tool called mdocker, basically a mini docker. It uses the Linux kernel, the core of the OS, to create an isolated space for a program to run. Uh, for those of you who are not familiar, Docker is basically container application that is used throughout the industry. What you will be building is a simplified version of Docker. How do we build this? We build this using two Linux technologies, namespaces and C groups. Namespaces, I'll explain in short. Every program in your computer can see every other program. So we used a system call to create a new namespace. There's two types of namespaces. PID namespace is called the process. This is called the process ID namespace. So every process has a unique process ID associated with it. And say for process ID 277, it thinks that it is the first and only running thing on the machine. For process ID 1, it thinks that it is the first and only thing running on the machine. It cannot see any other process IDs because you have restricted them now inside the kernel namespace. And second is a MNT namespace that this is used to restrict the file system. So basically you are logged inside a folder. We use a syscall called pivot root. So now your process only has access to a specific folder and nothing outside it. The second thing I mentioned, C groups, these stand for control groups. If a program goes crazy and uses 100% of your CPU, your computer freezes. With C groups, you can tell the kernel that this process gets exactly 10% of the CPU and 500 MB of RAM. So if it tries to take more, the kernel pauses it or kills it. So these were the basic building blocks for a container. The optional feature also, you can go further and implement basic virtual networking. So you don't want containers communicating with outside world, but let's say you want two separate containers to communicate with within themselves. You can use virtual networking, but that is an optional feature. The isolation using namespaces and C groups is the main thing here. For the second project on malware development, where you have to build a malware that captures that first injects itself onto the host machine and captures and monitors the user activity, their web browsing activity, their keystrokes. By keystroke monitoring, you can also secure the credentials, and while remaining undetected by the security tools. So the main features you have to implement here is keystroke logging and hooking. So how does a program know what you're typing? Windows and Linux use this thing called message loops to send keyboard clicks to an application. The malware you will build will use a technique called API hooking, and basically what it does is the malware injects itself into the message loop and tells the operation that before you send the letter to say the browser, you show it to you show the malware the letter first, then you record it and you then let it pass. The user never notices that you're capturing the keystrokes. Second, collecting data is one part. Second is C2, it's command and control. So once you've collected the data, getting off the computer without getting caught is hard. This is where network forensics comes in. If our program connects to a random server, the firewall will block it, so we have to somehow blend in. So our malware will mimic normal HTTP traffic. So basically it will be remotely controlled, and it will communicate through HTTP, but it will use fake records, like it would disguise itself as a normal application, say Discord, and that is what the firewall will see, that you're connecting to Discord, but in actual you're connecting with the malware. So I hope that is clear. The third problem statement is an end-to-end encrypted web-based file storage and sharing platform. So when you log on to the web, you think that your files are secured, but usually what happens is the company running the website has an encryption key, and if they get hacked or get compromised, your data is gone. So the goal is to implement an end-to-end encrypted system. This means the server is blind. It just stores data, but it cannot read it or make sense of it. So what you'll need to do is implement client-side AES encryption. The AES stands for Advanced Encryption Standard. So when you upload a file, your browser generates a random key and scrambles the file before it travels over the internet to the server. The server receives just nonsense. The decryption key never leaves your device. So that is the gold standard for privacy. And also for this, we need you to implement multi-factor authentication, like you must have seen in Google Auth apps, like they generate the 2FA codes. So we need you to implement that from scratch. You can refer to algorithms like HMAC SHA-1. It takes the current time and generates a code that is valid for like 30 seconds. Yeah, so the end goal is to provide a secure and alternative way to traditional cloud storage. The last problem statement now. Universal steganography tool. So your goal is to steganography is, first of all, what is steganography? It is a form of, you can say it's kind of an encryption without a key, where the algorithm is the key itself. So encryption scrambles a message using a key. Using steganography, You can just scramble a message, and the algorithm you use is so complex that it itself becomes almost impossible to reverse. It hides messages in plain sights. So the goal is to build a universal stack tool which works on images, video, audio, text, etc. The what you can use is basically some techniques you can use is LSB. uh, so every pixel has a byte value ranging from 0 to 255. So in binary, 255 is what, 1 1 1 1 1 1 7 times. The last bit, you can say, if you change the last bit from a 0 to 1, the pixel value doesn't change much. Humans cannot basically perceive that difference, but what you can do is use that last bit to store whatever data you want. Similarly, metadata also, like for images, there's a lot of metadata inside, like your GPS location, what is the resolution, what type of encoding is used, etc. So you can also use that, and again, you can also use statistical analysis. So what happens is you can calculate the entropy of a file. Normal images have predictable patterns, but if something is hidden within the the high bits of the data, the noise in those is lower compared to your average. So by that you can also detect what that this image or this form of media has some hidden information inside it. So that was all for the problem statements. You must have noticed that there was no tech stack mentioned. So what we'd recommend is you should use Python for all these, because it has got a lot of libraries, and it is easy to learn as well. But we are not restricting you. You can use any language, any tech stack you like, uh, and yeah, that is all. So if you have any doubts, you can ask in the chat. Do permissions of a file also come under metadata? No, not exactly. Like you can use this tool called exif tool to it basically gives you most of the metadata. You can like like have fun around with it and explore. There's a lot of possibilities where you can hide stuff, and it also depends mostly on the format, what type of metadata a file has. So images will have obviously different metadata from say video files. Hope that is clear. Next out, do we encode and decode? Yes, you have to encode and decode both. You can use the standard techniques that exist. You can use that also, and we also have we have also given you a task to implement a custom stack. So you also have to implement a custom method of your own to hide the data, which only you know. So that is basically more secure. Any other doubts? Okay, Tanish, we can move forward, I think.
Yes, so great work by the Information Security Division on presenting such insightful problem statements. Now we'll be moving to the User Interface, User Experience Division for their problem statements.
Okay, so coming to the UI UX division, there are four problem statements. And speaking of tech stacks, there's only one tool you're going to use for designing, which is Figma. And in terms of deliverables, there are two things we expect from you. First would be the Figma file, which is going to contain the complete wireframes like fully prototyped wireframes with all your pages and interactions in it. And along with your Figma file, you're also going to submit your UI UX case study. The case study should be submitted in a PDF format. So this is about it. And couple of general instructions for all the problem statements. First of all, what will you be designing? You'll be designing a mobile app. Like it's strict, it is strict that you have to only design a mobile app and not a web application. And irrespective of the problem statement, your wireframes should be designed end to end, which means from the login and sign up page to the final interaction the user is going to make, your app should contain all those pages, all those buttons fully prototyped. Okay. Now coming to the first problem statement, which is a gamified learning app. So in this, you're expected to design a mobile application that turns learning into a engaging game-like experience. The best example for this could be Duolingo. So we expect you to develop something similar to that. The app should help users build habits, learn new skills, and track progress through gamified elements. And to build habits, you can use elements such as streaks, levels, XP points, challenges, etc. And speaking of the features, uh, you can include a personalized learning path in which you generate uh, auto learning paths based on the progress of the user, streak systems, XP and coin, and you can also, in order to increase retention, you can also introduce daily, weekly, or monthly challenges. You have to include a progress tracking dashboard, a leaderboard, and a habit reminding system, and also resource library, which is curated according to whatever field the user is picking. Now, the features that are mentioned in this are optional. Like it's not compulsory that you have to include every single feature in this. And it's also appreciated if you could come up with some more creative features. Some points to be taken care of. Make sure the UI is clean and visually playful because you're creating a gamified platform. And the design system that you're going to use, it has to be visually appealing and something that signifies engagement and gamification. Uh, Also, make sure your UI is not cognitively overloading. It has to be very direct. Your user should be able to reach the goal within 3 seconds. And here are some of the example apps you can look into: Duolingo, Habitica, Brilliant, and Khan Academy Kits. The output requirements, this is almost going to be same for all the problem statements. The UI UX case study and a working prototype, high fidelity UI screens, personas and user flow, these things, all of these things which are mentioned here, you will be showing this in your UI UX case study. And all the gamification features and logics you will be using, you will have to explain them in your case study. And the design system you're going to use, which will comprise of color, typography, iconography, components, etc. And all the features like dashboard and progress tracking that you're going to introduce as well. Coming to the second problem statement, which is a trip planning app. So in this problem statement, you're going to develop a trip planning platform, which is going to help users completely personalize their itinerary. Now, this app will let the user take complete control of their travel, which includes booking of flights or trains to booking of hotels, local transportation, and also making the itinerary, like the day-wise plan as to where the traveler is going to visit, etc. So the app should help users plan trips that match their budget, preference, duration, and the travel style. The features you may include are smart date finders, in which you can suggest users dates based on the ticket prices and the season, so that it is budget friendly and also good to go. And as mentioned, the app is going to take care of end-to-end bookings, which includes hotels, homestays, flights, trains, buses, local travel, etc., and also any fare for tourist spots. The app should also provide local travel insights, such as some cheap local transports like metro or rickshaws if they are available. You can notify those in your app. And the app should let users do a budget-based planning in which like you can add a feature in your app in which users can enter their budget and the itinerary could be designed accordingly. Personalized itinerary, discovery and recommendation, and also an editable itinerary. Points to be taken care of. The UI has to be very user-friendly interface. When I say user-friendly, an app like this is going to be used by multiple user demography, like a wide range of age groups and occupations. So you have to make sure that it is usable by all age groups. It should not be very tech savvy that people are not able to use it. But at the same time, it has to be aesthetic and visually pleasing. Clear information display and personalization. Here are some example projects you can look into: Tripit, Make My Trip, Kayak, Airbnb trips, etc. Output requirements are same for all the PS, so I'm going to skip this. The third problem statement is a community volunteering app. So in this PS, you're required to develop a mobile application which is going to help individuals discover and participate in meaningful volunteering activities, such as NGO initiatives and local social impact events. So the app should help users find the opportunities which are around them, and the opportunities you have to make sure that they align with the interest of the user. Uh, Through the app, you should be able to track their contribution history, collaborate with like-minded community groups, and keep the app simple, trustworthy, and you have to enable real-world impact through your design. Features, event discovery, contribution tracking. You can create a tracking log, a dashboard or a timeline which shows all your past volunteering events or even the current stats of the NGO you're part of and the contributions you've made. A completion badge, community groups, event registrations. Make sure the event registrations are hassle-free and smooth, and you can do it in app if possible. And give the complete details of the NGO profiles, like whatever missions that are listed in your app, try to give complete details of them so that users can decide easily. Some points to be taken care of: use a warm and trustworthy human-centric UI. Ensure event discovery is very simple and straightforward. Keep the design accessible for all age groups with clear typography and simple workflows. Make sure your design is consistent. The design systems are consistent in terms of colors, typography, etc. And avoid usage of heavy game-like patterns and focus on clarity. And design with NGOs in mind. Ensure that it's easy for the NGOs as well to post their events in your app and gather volunteers for them. Here are some example projects you can look into. Coming to the last problem statement, which is a fashion shopping app. So you'll have to help users basically create a fashion shopping app like Myntra, Ajio, etc., in which you have to help users discover their by outfits and build their personal styles effortlessly. Through your app, you're going to offer personalized recommendations, virtual outfit boards, size guidance, and offer a smooth shopping experience. The goal of your app is to make the discovery intuitive, make the fashion confidence boosting and also enjoyable for users. Features include personalization, virtual outfit builder, trend and collection discovery, wish list, and you have to include a wish list or a lookbook, product details and review. Yeah, reviews are very important. Make sure you include proper details about the product, including their photos, size, etc., and reviews as well. And seamless checkout. Make sure the entire purchase journey of the user is as simple as possible. Points to be taken care of. The UI must be clean, modern, and visually appealing. Product discovery must be effortless. Make sure your entire app has very good clarity and style is relevant. High quality visuals, make your design clutter free. And your design should invoke confidence, aspiration, and joy in the users. Some examples are Myntra, Zara, Agio, ASOS, etc. So that is it about the problem statements. A general note on all the PS, the features which are mentioned here are just optional for you to just to give you guys an idea. It is always appreciated if you guys can come up with new creative features and make sure when you're designing, your designs are user centric. We don't make too fancy designs. The primary thing you have to focus on is the user experience. Okay. Any doubts, guys? And also regarding the UI UX case study you're going to make, you can use Figma or Canva for it, but preferably Figma is better. The format in which you'll be submitting it is PDF. The format in which you'll be submitting it is PDF.
Okay, so great problem statements from the UI UX division as well. Also, we'll be sharing the proposal template that you must follow while submitting your ideas. Moving ahead, we'll now shift to the web development division for the problem statements.
So hello everyone. In the web development division, we have a total of 6 problem statements. So before starting with the problem statements, let me clear the tech stack for you. So for front end, we will be using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And you're not allowed to use any frameworks like Next.js, Angular, or React.js. And if you want to use any external library, you must ask a senior before writing it in the proposal. This may jeopardize your application. So yeah, let's start with the first problem statement. That is the flashcard exchange. So like you guys must have made some flashcards in your studies, right? So this is basically just an online version of that. Here users can create their own flashcards, save them, edit them, and study whenever they want. They can also browse decks made by other users, and there's an optional features where they can even get some AI generated hints. So the primary goals of this application is are like user authentication. So this will be common in all of the problem statements. So you are gonna do the user authentication part by using Firebase. So yeah, you can have a study mode in that where user can flip the card and then can see the answers. Browse and search decks. So there are additional and optional features present in all of the problem statements. So firstly, you need to build the core features and then maybe shift to the additional features. This will fetch you some brownie points and maybe give you an edge over the other people. But make sure to build the core features first and then move to the additional features. So yeah, let's move on to the second problem statement. Like this one is something every student would use in their daily life. So like you all check mess menu, look for lost item and sell stuff, right? So instead of checking 10 different places, everything here is in one platform. So like this would contain daily mess menu,
you can view the weekly mess menu, you can give ratings for the mess menu. There would be a lost and found board, like where user can post if he has lost something, and the user can like even post if he has found something. And then there should be a marketplace also, where the user can sell everything. Like you want to sell a calculator, maybe some books, so yeah, there should be student marketplace. Yeah, so there should also be a authentication role based. So you are going to do it using Firebase, and then there should be unified dashboard. And then there are the bonus features. I am not explaining that here, that will just extend the timing. They are pretty self-explanatory, and if you still have any doubts in them, you can ask any senior. So technology stack would be similar for all the problem statements. The front end is HTML, CSS, JavaScript. There may be some like APIs that are unique to every problem statement, but they are mentioned at the technology stack part. So yeah, for backend, we will be using Firebase for authentication and for database. So let's move on to the third problem statement. So the third problem statement is a different problem statement apart from these two. It is an offline game. So like what you have to build in this is a like canvas type game. So in this, both the users, it is a two-player game. So in this, we expect you to build a prototype. No, we expect you to build a project where both players can play on the same keyboard. The players can like move the tanks, fire bullets, and reduce enemies' health and try to win the round. So it should have smooth animations and all. And there should, yeah, you need to implement the physics for collision and all. And there are some external features like destructible talent and power ups. You can like the like tech stack is similar for this. You need to use just HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and Canvas. The fourth problem statement. This is stock flow. This is a inventory and chain management platform. So what that platform offers is, here user can like add products, update stock levels, track item movement. So it is for people like who manage warehouses. So it's for logistics. So like user can update stock levels, track item movement, and log whenever something goes in or out. It also supports like supplier management, ki wo stock analyze kar paye, analytics, and even as an additional feature, AI generated item descriptions. So it's basically just help warehouses maintain everything in one place. The tech stack is similar for this also. You need to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and Firebase and Firestore. So let's move on to the fifth problem statement. So this is all about clubs and communities inside a college, right? Every college has ton of clubs, but keeping up with their events, announcements, and recruitment is always confusing. So Campus Connect solves that. Like in this, every club get their own page and get their own feed. They have their own description, logo, events post. In this, there it is a role based app, so there will be multiple roles. There will be a role about club admin, club members, and then the normal like college students. So like the club admin would be able to like post and announce everything containing text, images, event links. And then there will be two feeds. First is a campus feed that contains posts from all of the clubs, and there would be a separate club feed that would be present on the club's page there, that would only contain posts about that particular club. So yeah, there are additional features like admin dashboard, achievements and highlights, club leaderboard. Yeah, you can build them to get some brownie points. So yeah, let's move on to the sixth problem and the last problem statement, TextMate. So it is not a website, it is a Chrome extension that helps you to read and explore content more effectively on web. So what basically it does is, like you have used extensions, right? So it would allow you to select text or summarize an entire web page using Gemini. Like user can translate selected text or entire pages by this. So like it just helps user, it just enhances user experience of reading. So like user can highlight, the user can bookmark something. It contains like two modes, like the reader mode. In like you can make a site change its color, like you press a button on the extension and the site goes in dark mode or light mode. This is an optional feature, you may build it. But yeah, the core features are more important. The tech stack is similar, but yeah, it is an extension, so you need to think accordingly for it. So yeah, do you have any doubts? So like, give me in the comment section. You guys have any doubt? You can't use MongoDB for the database. You need to use Firebase. Can I use Django for WebD? No, no, you can't. You need to use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and for backend, you need to use Firebase. Any other doubts? So, no, like handing over to Tanish.
Okay, so ending up the session, I'd like to inform once again that there is no team participation, and also you can apply for one problem statement and only from one division. And I already promised about the proposal template. I'm just, announcing it how you can make it, but we'll also share the PDF. On the top, we'll be having the project name, then your name. We'll be having a description, the features you will be having, tech stack, what is your implementation details, and then you need to prepare a timeline, like हर week में आप कितना करोगे, week wise. We need a week wise timeline, and then we need a details about yourself, a personal details, and also why should you be selected for this particular projects and other commitments during the program of Winter of Code. And that's it. I hope you participate in this insightful journey because at the end, this journey will teach you a lot. So yeah, that's it.